Friendly reminder that you need to press on and off to speak.
Automatically.
I mean, they can and they probably will do it for you if you forget back there, but I just wanted to put you all on notice.
Okay, good evening, everyone. We're about to get started. It's 5 o'clock, right? Can you hear me okay? We've got in attendance myself, Jill Dominguez, Mark Horowitz, Sergio Martinez, Morad, Cesar, and Tracy. Okay.
It's 5:03.
It is 5:03. And we're going to begin with our public comment period. I'm excited to welcome some guests. We've got, where am I supposed to read here? We've got Mayor John Cowan. Welcome. Remember, you've got 3 minutes.
Can you cut
Sergio's
my mic
timing
off?
you.
You can cut it. You can cut it.
I can't hear him.
All right. Am I good? Can you hear me, Rose?
Yeah. Yes, now I can.
Yeah. Thank you. So I was saying, Rose, that I'm honored to be here, and it's an amazing feeling to be in front of the BCIC board. I think you guys have done so much for our community, and I apologize for not coming here sooner to talk to you and to thank you personally, face to face. With that said, I think you guys know we're in election season, and we have the MDD on the ballot. I know there are questions and concerns and doubts about this process. I think no one really understands 100% how it's all going to go, but the end game obviously is a better structure with more resources to move the needle quicker and at a greater degree for quality of life and for economic development in Brownsville. So I think we have the leadership, I think, at this table and at the City Commission to help figure this out. And it's a long-term vision that will create more positive change for our community. With that said, I'm here also to advocate for the remaining 5 projects for the city that I believe were presented at the last meeting. I know there was no action item on the agenda on these projects, but I think it's important, in my opinion, to take action on these things sooner than later, because if this board does not take action on those, I think these projects will get delayed further, which increases the potential cost, and the likelihood of these projects happening does go down, right? So I think, on behalf of the city, on behalf of me as mayor, right, I am asking for you guys to try and take action on these items before the May 4th election. So I think that would be my ask. Obviously, you guys are in full control of that process, so I leave it to you. But again, thank you so much for everything you do for the city of Brownsville. So thank you. I don't know if I can't. No questions.
Thank you,
right?
Mayor
So,
Cowan.
thank you.
We appreciate it. We have another public comment, Dr. Rose Gowan.
Hello. Thank you so much for sharing your time. Having been a chair of BCIC for 4 years in the past, BCIC then was a very different organization, but I still understand what it means to sit at that table. And as the mayor just noted, you are very, very important to this community. I would join Mayor Cowan in asking you to consider a special meeting for the consideration of those remaining items that were presented at your last meeting. The potential draw and gain for our community in both economic development and quality of life, if the MDD passes, is very, very high. And we do need these projects, though, to begin as quickly as possible because they are important. And they have been clearly stated. So I will join him in requesting that you hold a special meeting as quickly as you can to consider these items. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. We are going to move on. That's the last of the public comment. Yep. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Gowan. We're going to move on to our number 3, which is our consent agenda items. All items are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. If requested by a board member, any item can be taken off the consent for individual consideration. Do I have a motion on the consent items?
So moved.
Got a motion from Tracy. A second? Second from Murad. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Moving on. We're going to go to item number 4, which is discussion, consideration, and acknowledgement of the February and March 2024 financials report. We've got a guest from the city. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, good afternoon. Board. Yes? Okay. Good afternoon. I'm here to present the financial statements for February, which we were not able to go into them last meeting. As we can see, as of February 29, the balance sheet accounts, we do have total assets of $15,355,915. We had liabilities of $513,509, leaving us with a total net assets of $14,842,406. On the second slide, the next slide, we do show the income statements, the revenues and expenses through February 2024, sorry. We had total revenues of $3,067,719, expenses of $4,509,784. So we were under $1,442,000. And basically because we're including the payments for the bond deficiencies that were done in January. That's what's included in the expenses. On the next slide, we show the fund balances as of February 29. We show unrestricted of $3.6 million, restricted of $8.173. That's on those projects that have been approved. And we have the rainy day fund of $3 million, which is a reserve. Total net assets of $14,842,406. On the next slide, we show the sales tax collections through January 2023. Comparing to 2023, we had 2.551 million. As of January 2023, we had 2.417 million. So it's an increase of approximately 5.6% compared to last year in January. Any questions in the financials? And then if we go into the March financial statements. For March, we're showing total assets of $15,741,739, whereas total liabilities were down to $495,000, leaving us with a total net assets of $15,246,668 as of March 31st. On the income statement side, slide number 2, we're showing total revenues of $3,746,501, total expenses of $4,784,304, which were still a little bit under by approximately $1 million, because again, it includes the payments for those bonds deficiencies we did in January. The next slide, we show the fund balances. The unrestricted is at $3.7 million, the restricted at $8.5 million, and the reserve rainy day fund at $3 million. So giving us total net assets or fund balances of $15,246,668. And the following slide, we show the sales tax collections through February. Through February 2024, we've collected in sales tax $3,164,909. Compared to fiscal year 2023, we've collected $2,959,000. So we've had an increase of 7%. So slowly but surely, the increases is increasing on the sales tax collections. Any questions on the March financials?
Yes, Raphael,
Yes,
just
sir.
Following up our conversation from earlier, I just wanted to reiterate some points that we had discussed. and
Correct.
Just, bring them out into the public forum. The revenue fund sheet, the paid or unpaid contract commitments, it's like I think it's the 4th page.
The 4th page.
Looking at March. There's I see on this month that you had separated out some of the FY23 stuff from the budget.
Correct.
So now it's like, when I add up the FY '24 budget column, it's 13.349.
Correct.
So, I appreciate that, but the thing is, then in the committed balance, we have, like, this, it's a little confusing, because it's, you know, a mixture of not just FY '23, but also FY '25.
25, right.
Right, so the quality of life projects for the city of Brownsville is 2.2 million, but it was, wait, I'm sorry, that's like 2.2 million for the fiscal year '24, but it does not include 750,000 for La Posada.
For the, right.
Right,
Right, that's for
So-
25. So that one will be accounting it with, whenever we start working on the budget for fiscal year 2025, we'll take it into consideration.
uh-huh. I feel like it
And I'll be working
should
with.
be noted,
right.
just,
And I'll be working
somewhere.
with staff, this week and next week, to start working, see how it's more appropriate to show this worksheet. You know,
Okay.
to separate them.
and then going back to the first page, the second plot, expenditures, it's, the 4.7 million, is that now equal to everything that, like, it's spent?
Expense.
For the fiscal year?
For the fiscal year 2024,
Okay,
inclusive.
so, and it does not include, like, the fiscal year 2023 or 2022?
It includes the actual payments that were done during fiscal year 2024.
Okay,
I did speak to our finance director. He did mention that when the budget was prepared at the beginning of the year, that we should have, it should have been taken into consideration, those balances you have from fiscal year '23, which it was, I mean, so we're
like, it should have been
assuming,
in the budget?
it
is
should have
that-
been taken into consideration when you were working on the budget,
Okay,
yeah.
so.
So this coming year, we'll be working on that, and we'll take into consideration any balances that we need.
And I guess the question is, now that we added the 2.2 or million for fiscal year '24, should we add more to the budget? Like, the budget on this one, where it says expenditures in blue, it's budget, should that be 3.3 plus, I mean 13.3 plus
Plus.
2.2?
No.
Just because because like, I know that this is what was decided, that number was what was decided at the
Right.
beginning of the fiscal year, but then we amended the budget.
And the thing is, like I was telling Corey, I'll be working with them to come up with a true figure that you have available, because we cannot just do a budget amendment saying that you have so much in unrestricted, or maybe you have a little bit less because of those commitments that you have already.
Okay, but
So
I guess what I'm trying to, like, when I look at this as a board member, I'm trying to figure out how are we doing in terms of expenditures versus our budget? So the budget in the blue, the 13.349, doesn't account for the city's quality of life projects.
Correct, no. Because that was something that after the fact, after the budget, that they approved those as quality of life for the city. I think it was in November when they approved all those items.
So is it just not like I guess customary to amend it, or is it?
It could be, but like I say, I would need to go back and recalculate the fund balances, the actual amount that's available, in order to do the budget amendment, to increase the expenses.
Okay.
We need to make sure that BCIC has enough money as unrestricted to meet those projects.
Well, it does.
And it eventually probably will, once the other sales tax months, the sales tax comes in for the rest of the months. So probably you would have it.
Okay. And then, same on page 4, we have the Small Business Recovery Fund, 500,000. We don't have any, I know that it's a little bit different now. I think it's 581, right? I was looking at,
So the second grant that we received was a total of 5,867. But the reason I expect that is because we work with the city as a reimbursement basis. So I submit the applications to the city grants department, they review it, and they submit, they also have to review, and then they also have to provide us with the environmental review report. Then after that, we submit for reimbursement. After we, fund, we submit for reimbursement.
so,
So there's some accounts that are still pending on them for them to reimburse us.
Okay, so so it's like we're a pass-through in a way. I mean, it's, I don't know if that,
We get reimbursed for the, we get it, we write the check and then we get reimbursed by the city.
kind of, it's kind of like the EDA revolving loan fund. It's money that came to us and that we're using for, on behalf of the residents. But, you know, on the second page, we have a separate column for the EDA revolving loan fund, right? And it's, I think it's just better if the HUD money was also like that, because it's confusing.
Right, I understand. Yeah, and we
It's-
talked about it, and I'm gonna work with staff too, so we can separate it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I know, I'm
Right.
just, but I feel like I need to say this
No, I
publicly,
understand.
just, you know, for the record and all. So the, and the administrative costs for the EDA, this is the second page. It's 104, but is that, are those loans, are those actually like how much it costs to administer?
Those are actually the loans that were issued to the small businesses on the
Okay.
EDA. Yes.
So, I mean, I guess it would make sense to me. I don't know if it's strategic initiatives or, because when I see that's 100,000 for administrative costs, it seems
Right, I understand.
off, but, I
And
don't know
I-
how,
Right, and I'll get with staff so we can see how we can reclassify it or maybe add another line item to be more clear.
okay. And then the BCIC reserve, that's the bond money. I get, right, I guess at some point, it's gonna, I mean, it has, to. I mean, since the money, the bond's already been paid off, that needs to be resolved.
It has to, the bond council, it has,
Right.
apologies. For the bond council for Fund 23, it has to be earmarked for improvements, capital improvements of the sports park. So there is still restrictions on it, unfortunately.
Okay,
It's 1.55 million that we had, when we had the bonds, we always had to have another year in reserves, just in case something happened, and it was part of the bond requirement. And so we have that funds, but we got clarification today that it has to be spent at the sports park as what the certificate of obligations were awarded on.
okay. And yeah, that money is not reflected like in the
Correct.
unrestricted, restricted, or reserve,
No,
like on,
that's right. This is only for the operating fund.
right,
Yeah.
okay, that's it.
Thank you. And then we go into the next slide. I believe it should be the investment report. I think right before the, this one, the quarterly report. I think it's right behind the financials, yes.
Do we have to make a motion to acknowledge?
It's like, okay.
Okay,
Well, this is just a quarterly investment report that the city provides, is required to provide. Yes, okay. We're just comparing the values as of December 31 to March 31st. We do show, as of December 31, on the depository bank, the PNC bank account, you had $261,000. As of March 31, $227,485. On the money market account, as of December 31, we're showing 7.8 million, almost 7.9 million. As of March 31st, on the money market, we're showing 4.7 million. And then on the investment accounts, we're showing an overall balance of 11.195 million as of December 31st. And as of March 31st, we're showing 12.651 million on those investment accounts. And basically, we're just showing that we are meeting the policy where we're showing the investments being under 75%, and usually they're being moved where we can earn the most interest on those accounts. So that's why sometimes we decrease the regular bank account, we transfer monies into the investments accounts, so we can maximize on the interest. Any questions on the investments?
Do we have a motion to acknowledge the financial reports?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're going to go on
Thank
to
you.
item number 5. Is it you also? Thank you.
We now have Stephen for the city of Brownsville.
Okay, we're on number 5, which is consideration and action on resolution number R 2024-01, adopting Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation Investment and Strategy Statement Policy.
My name is Stephen Muse from the City of Brownsville's Finance Department. Good evening, board members. Do we have a slide for this one? Up? Do we have a slide for this one on there? That's the only slide you got? Okay, I'll just briefly go over it. The Public Funds Investment Act requires us to readopt annually our investment strategy and policy, right? So I'll just briefly go over it. This strategy and policy applies to all of the investment activities for BCIC. This policy establishes guidelines for who can invest BCIC funds, how they're invested, when and how periodic review of these investments are done. The primary objective for these investments is safety, liquidity, and lastly, yield. So our priority is not to necessarily make money, but to save it and make sure we're liquid enough to meet our obligations as they come due. One of those tools that we use to maintain liquidity is diversification of investments. Like he showed you, you have several different investment pools that you invest in. The maximum amount we can put of your total funds is 75%. So I think he showed you you're at 73%, getting close to the limit, so we might need to reevaluate where we put the rest of that money if we get some additional funds. Some of the updates from the previously adopted policy is we've removed the CFO from the policy and added the deputy city manager. And the current list of authorized users to invest is deputy city manager, finance director, and 2 accountants, which would be myself and the treasury manager. We've also updated the list of investment brokers. We added PNC Bank and removed Wells Fargo and BBVA Compass. And those are all the changes to the investment policy. Do I have any questions?
Motion to approve. Do a second? All the. Yes. We have a motion and a second? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Great job. Okay, we're going to move on to item number 6, which is consideration and action to approve the quality of life application for project number 24-028, Brownsville Historical Association, Brownsville on the Move, a new vision for the historic Brownsville Museum, Simon Salaya Children's Gallery, and the amount not to exceed $420,925 and no cents.
Good evening, Board. The Brownsville Historical Association's application was part of the Cycle 2 submission. The item was tabled at the last board meeting, and so we've invited the applicant to come and present to you again. We worked with them to update their presentation so that you can better understand their project, and I'll open the floor to Tara Putinat, who's the Executive Director for the BHA.
Thank you, Board. Appreciate the opportunity to come back to you and talk to you a little bit more about our project. And you also have some paper copies of brochures and materials that have been printed for this. So last time we talked about our goals and objectives. We have 4 major goals. One is to take visitors on an adventure. Second, to make history fun. We talked about how maybe the current display is not quite as fun and engaging as it should be. We want to reveal the people behind the history, so we want to come up with stories that hadn't been told before. Some of these we found in our archives and through other historical accounts. And then we want to put the visitor behind the wheel. By that, we mean by interactive displays and actually engaging them in a digital atmosphere. So more modern, more technology. So the project scope, first we know that we have to go through the design phase. Then we will look at the educational components. We want to make this friendly for teachers, for educators. So anything having to do with TEKS or requirements in the classroom, we want to be sure that that's also part of our goal. We want to have more immersive experiences. Then we would move into fabrication and installation. And then after that, we would see the deliverables. We would see what's working, what's not working, and make adjustments as needed. There's a little rendition of the locomotive, the 1872 locomotive that's currently on display. And then this is just a conceptual drawing of what that might look like. So here's our timeline. Oops. So exhibit design begins and development begins in July 2024. That would take a couple of months, we're estimating. So then exhibit and experience design workshop would happen in September. Then in January, we would finalize the exhibit design with the fabricators. And then about a month later, pre-construction discussions begin. April 2025 is the actual installation. And then we would need to make adjustments, we believe, at that time. So then post-production training would happen in June, and then we would open officially in July. So about a year. This is the current display. You can see the locomotive is the main artifact in this building. The lower right-hand corner shows some of the antiquated display cases that we have now. We would like to replace all those with the new exhibit design. And then that's an exterior photo of the building, just so you can get a feel for what building we're talking about. The budget, so this is what we showed last time. It's about $121,000 for the design and development of all the exhibits. And then the fabrication installation is close to $300,000. So that includes the drawings, the engineering, all the prototypes, audiovisual hardware, any software, and then the installation, which also includes a 1-year warranty. And then there's some exhibit highlights. That's also in your paperwork. Hands-on activities, games. We talked about these danger stories, talking to children and visitors about how transportation got to where we are today and how it wasn't always so easy, especially dealing with railroads and locomotives and all of the pieces that go with that. And then we talked about a STEM trunk, which is there in the corner. That would be something more interactive, something that a staff person could use on a Saturday morning when we're doing some sort of workshop with children or visitors, and that would actually be something science-based. So we want to incorporate the history with the science and technology of today. And then there's a section there on where you can see the woman is standing with the child on sounds that trains make. So we want to do something visual and also audio. And then also a section there on how long it would take for a train to get somewhere. So it would be a comparison between, let's say, a tortoise, a hare, and a locomotive. And then children would play this game alone or with other people in the game. And then they would kind of guess as to who would get there first. So also, just talking about the history, but also, again, incorporating that science component. There's a close-up of the steam trunk, and then the how fast do trains go exhibit. And then the train sounds as well. There's the layout. So the center piece of the exhibit room would be the locomotive, and then all of the displays would go along the walls, much like they are now, but again, with a more interactive feel. And I am ready for questions if you have any. You're welcome.
Thank you for the presentation. So, since we met last time, can you please highlight the changes in the plan that you have presented today from what we talked about last time, like in terms of, not plan in terms of design, but in terms of the process itself?
So as far as how the exhibits would be created?
Yes,
Or-
are you planning more stakeholder input with a broader audience? Because it seemed like we still have the same concept, the same design ideas already, which I'm not questioning
Sure.
the merit of these ideas. I'm just like, one of the main concerns last time was like, do we have input from the larger community, especially the students, ISDs, and college, and many other stakeholders who might influence the design. But as of today, we're still looking to the same concept.
Right.
So that's my question.
So, yeah, that's a really good question. Thank you for asking that. So what we planned to do if we were awarded the funds was to have sort of like an open house where we'd invite the community and all kinds of members of the school districts and any visitors or members who have been around for a really long time. And then also, we want to attract a new audience too. So we were hoping for sort of like this kickoff, this introduction as to what our plan is for the building, what it might look like with these renderings, and then following up that with a teacher kind of stakeholder meeting. I think I mentioned last time we have an agreement with BISD. All students and teachers have free admission to our museums. So we have a really strong relationship with the district, and we'd like to expand that as well. So a lot of the teachers that bring their students by would love to have input in this, and we're looking forward to that as well. So yeah, as sort of like an informal introduction to that, and then maybe a more formal workshop talking about the components and whether that fits for our museum or not.
If I may, I just had some comments. First of all, thank you for doing this. I did notice on your presentation, social studies seems to be in a decline, right? That seems to be a general theme across the board. But all I would recommend is, make sure you plug in, which you already are, BISD's idea, even Harmony, but make sure you plug them in, and I think it'll be really beneficial, and hopefully that number, with activities like this, we can increase those numbers. I think you said, it says they're like in the 40s, 40 point something %. So yeah, that's unfortunate. They should be way higher than that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so our exhibits are pretty dated. So in the museum world, it's time to make these changes, especially for history museums. They're going into science and technology more. So we hope that carries over to educators as well, but also just, to bring in tourism and people that have never been to Brownsville before. So it's an amazing locomotive. It's an amazing artifact. And I just feel like the potential here is, it's time. It's time for an
Maybe
upgrade.
do something with the zoo. I mean, maybe capture a lot of that same market, because, you have a lot of folks from the valley that come to Brownsville for the zoo, and maybe they can stop by. I mean, it's really close. They should swing by, right?
Right, exactly. Yes. Yes.
So I have a question about the budget itself. I mean, looking into your numbers, they're very specific. Do you already have like a design team that is working on this, that is helping you with this cost analysis, or is this just an estimate based on your research?
So this was the estimate given to us by the consultant at MuseWork. So she has fabricators that she works with that she's recommending. We would go out for bid, of course. So this is just sort of her idea for what these concepts would cost. And there's a contingency in there. I think you saw that. So depending on what we end up implementing in the exhibit will vary the cost. But this is a pretty good estimate. It's firm. She's been doing this for a while, so.
We also funded a project on Amelia Earhart at
Yes.
the Dean Porter Park. I think you were there at the
Oh, yeah.
opening. It'd be really cool if that could somehow, that's part of transportation history, right? So
Yes.
we could incorporate that into somewhere in the exhibit. It would be really neat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good point. I
So
agree.
the, so the main depot is also set for a reinterpretation like this. So it's all part of the plan. This is just
It's part
phase
of the-
one
it's a part of it.
of the bigger plan. Yeah.
And then I know from visiting the train with young kids and our selfie culture, like if there could be some kind, it would be really neat if there's some kind of way where kids could take pictures. Like if you could put them like up a ladder so that they look like they're in the train or something like that, because that's all, and right now it's kind of hard to,
Yes.
that room is so small, it's kind of hard to figure out how to get a picture.
Yeah, so one of the great things about the consultant, or one of the things that I liked about her ideas was she asked if we could actually access the locomotive and have people get in it, which I'm perfectly fine with. So for photos, you know, to actually have them feel that and see what that might have been like at that time. So yeah, that's going to be a change that we want to do.
How much do you think it'll cost to workshop with the community to identify what it is that they would find engaging, and like how many workshops do you think you'd need?
I would say at least 2, maybe a third one, so.
Yeah, how much would those be?
Oh gosh, we could host them on site, so I don't see anything more than a couple $100. We have our own tech equipment, you know, we have the ability to run something like that, so.
I mean, with
yeah.
like a facilitator, you know, like I would imagine like you would have, you know, you have the concept, and then you know you have the audience, and then, but you're gonna probably have like a lot of different ideas. You'd probably be like, you know, riffing off those ideas, but you need somebody, a designer there, so.
That would be part of what the consultants will bring it to the table, like that would be part of
Right,
the task, is to go through this exercise. And I'm hoping the budget that you have for is already include that portion of the design process, right? Because
Yes.
it's not just starting drawings, but also doing all these community engagement workshops to get input, so that will influence the programming, which will in turn influence the design.
It's part of the
It should
120.
be.
Right, so it's part of the service she will provide to us from MuseWorks.
Yeah, so I'm
she-
trying to figure out like how much for like that part, or if there's, because like the 121 was for,
For- Right, no, it would be part of what is paid.
It's the
That's-
design and exhibit development probably, right?
It doesn't say workshop, but it would include something like that, so.
So, once we have an idea as to what we want, right, after, you know, the community exhibits or engagements, what, the workshops, I guess, what, I don't see, do you have like a marketing budget? I mean, once it's established, once, you know, I'm thinking of the tail end of the project, right? Do you have a dollar amount of are you gonna, because obviously then you're gonna have to market it,
Sure.
because that costs money. I mean, ask us, we know that costs money. So, I don't know, I'm just curious.
Yes, so we do get the hot funds from the city
Okay.
of Brownsville. We budget about $60,000 a year to market all of our museums, but this, yeah, especially would probably get more attention once it's open and complete.
Once you launch it,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, so we would probably need additional funding for that, or work our budget to accommodate.
Thank you.
I have a question for staff. Our last page in this tab is our budget for quality of life projects, and it looks like we have $184,540 left, which is substantially less than this request. So I think we're $236,385 short.
We are, I think, 184,000, is that correct, Miriam? 184,000 on a shortfall if you approve at full.
If this is approved.
Yes,
That would be the
but we
shortfall.
would, we have in our budget, funds under our finance programs. We allocated 350 of BCIC funds for the EDA grant.
Right, and we can't use that.
And we can't use it, so we can readjust and put that into, reallocate and put it into our quality of life line item.
Okay, I need to make sure that I understand.
I don't think what you said was right, Corey,
I think the 184,540 is what is the current balance.
the
in
current
quality of
balance,
life.
yeah.
Am I
It looks like
wrong?
184
Oh.
is left in quality of life.
I'm
right
sorry,
there.
you're correct.
So I think we would have to move in 236,385.
That's correct.
Okay,
And we
From-
have 350
okay.
Wait, so you're moving 236 from where?
From the
EDA?
revolving loan fund that we have for program for 700,000, we weren't permitted to use 350,000 of BCIC funds. EDA told us after we got the approval of our budget that they did not recommend that we
Add more
allocated
money of our own.
money, yeah.
So can we do this without a budget amendment?
Raphael, could we just do an adjustment, because we're just taking it from the, it's not changing our budget line items. I mean, our overall budget fund, it's just moving funds around.
Reprogramming.
Yeah, reprogramming.
Thank you.
And so, and Raphael's saying that the commission doesn't need to
No.
approve that? I mean, just thinking theoretically, what if we zeroed out something that they really wanted? I mean, would they need, I mean, like, say we moved, like whatever's left in big into quality of life. Wouldn't we need a budget amendment for that?
No, because if we're using our remaining balance from the current budget and we're putting it into an already, it's just shifting numbers, it's just readjusting, but the overall number doesn't change.
No, I know the budget's the same.
Yeah.
But
I would recommend for you to do a budget amendment for the board to approve, just from one line item to another.
Okay,
As long as it
but we do
doesn't
not
affect-
have to take it to the,
As long as it doesn't affect the budget itself.
yeah,
right, I know, but that's why I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
I don't think, whatever.
So
You know.
was that a recommendation that we take that action of doing a budget amendment internally before approving funds that exceed our budget line item for quality of life?
we still
That's the
have,
recommendation.
we still have to take it to city commission for final approval, so we could do a budget amendment in May. Because we really don't have, the funds are not allocated until the final approval from city commission.
Thank you.
I second. I'll make a motion to approve. I'll make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
No second.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion. Okay.
No, we have four.
Yes. Cesar, Tracy, Jill. And one nay. So motion carries. We're just checking our math.
I would like to point out, for the quality of life, our status on the quality of life grants. So we had, we have in our budget, $3 million, and then we, allocated, 2.9, almost 3 million for the city projects. So in total, we have close to $6 million that we've allocated for quality of life for this year. And I just want to let you know that we're at 42% of our overall budget of $14 million. But in hindsight, in revenues, we only allocated, for 6.7 million. So if you really think about the revenues that are accounting for, because we used the remaining balance of our unrestricted to get that 14 million. So out of that 6.7, we're at 92% that went to quality of life for revenues.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I didn't.
We have, the revenues that we predicted for 2024 is 6.7 million.
Okay.
Out of that 6.7 million, 92% of that revenues is going straight to quality of life grants.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're gonna move on to, item number 7, which is consideration and action to approve the recommendations for the following Blue Bridge Fund RLF program application. A is Los Bronzos Hospitality Group LLC, doing business as Red Food and Hospitality, Michael Leland and David Leland, in the amount of $75,000.
All right. Well, before presenting the application, I do want to provide a quick summary because it's the first time that said he's going to consider an RLF application. So just a quick summary of what this program is. Back in 2021, we received $2 million from the EDA to administer a revolving loan fund, which is now known as the eBridge Fund. So what the eBridge Fund is, it's a small business loan that can help businesses that are located in Cameron County. And the main goal of the program is job creation and job retention. So with that said, we received one complete application from La Ramblas Hospitality Group, DBA La Rep. They are requesting $75,000. The business is located at 1105 East Washington Street, which is on Market Square. And the owners are Michael Limas and Fabian Limas. The type of business is French. It's a French and American cuisine restaurant. So just a quick business description. Le Reb, it was founded by the Limas brothers. It's combining French and American culinary styles. It will be located in downtown Brownsville, which is as you all know, it's rapidly growing. The restaurant targets a wide audience and distinctive menu, extensive selection of wines and spirits, and a dedication of high-quality, locally sourced ingredients. So the purpose of the loan, they will be using it for working capital. $35,000 will be allocated towards employee costs, which covers salaries, wages, trainings, and benefits to ensure competitive compensation. And $40,000 will be allocated towards operating costs, which these include essential expenses such as rent, utilities, inventory, kitchen equipment, maintenance, and an emergency fund for unforeseen operational expenses. So the recommended loan terms are that we are recommending, it's $75,000 with a down payment of 10%, which will be $7,500. The interest rate that we are recommending is 6.5% fixed for 5 years. This will leave them with $1,467 of a monthly payment, and the maturity date of the loan will be, if granted, will be in July 2029. So at the end of the loan, the total interest earned will be $13,047 with 67 cents. As far as collateral, the loan will be secured by our equipment, inventory, and assets owned by La Ramblas Hospitality Group. For employment impact, a total of 16 full-time jobs will be created and 6 part-time positions. The breakdown is provided in the meeting packet. And so that's that. So our recommendation is to approve the $75,000 loan proposal for La Ramblas Hospitality Group under the specified terms. And in your meeting packet, you will find the project cost breakdown, which includes how much they will be using from the eBridge Fund and how much they've invested. They've invested a total of $300,000. And then on the next page, you'll have the breakdown of the employees that they will be hiring. And then following that, it's the loan amortization schedule. And then I did include some pictures of how it will look. Okay. And just let me know if you have any questions.
Two questions. How much, what's the balance in the eBridge?
Right now, we have around $498,000 available for lending, and that's, right now we are in the revolving loan phase, meaning that we are using the funds that we've received from payments and down payments to make new loans.
Okay. And
So the balance was 498, right? You said, I'm sorry?
As of right now, yes, $498.
And
Because of interest
payments,
et cetera. Okay.
and remind me again, how many applicants we have received this year so far, and how much we have
2
funded?
this year, this fiscal year. We have a total of 15 active loans right now. 15.
What's the holdup?
15
Overall.
active loans overall from when we started the program, but 2 that were approved this fiscal year.
How many in the queue? Like, how many applicants are waiting?
Right now, I'm working with two applicants.
Okay.
So 2 we awarded this year?
Yes.
Or Not including this one?
No, which is Heron Holly and La Pali.
Okay, and this is a new one, and
This is a
then
new
you
one.
still have 2 more in the queue?
Yes,
You-
that I'm
that
working
you're
with.
bidding.
And so, You're saying there's 500,000 roughly left. And I'm trying to square this with the financials, because like on the second page, you know, where it says the EDA, RLF, you know, it says there's 8, so there are 900 roughly left. But you were saying the 350 of it was something that we added that we can't use?
Yeah, we put budget 700,000, because at the time of budget, we were about 350,000.
More or less.
Yeah, so we put another 350 of BCIC to, you know, to be able to fatten it up so we can do more loans, but then afterwards we were told, they recommend not to use BCIC funds, because they recommend staying with the revolving.
Okay, so 900, the fund balance was 900 less 350.
Yeah, so you're looking at 650.
What's that? 550? So, okay, off by about 50, 70, whatever. Did we use up all that money? I don't think we used up all that money for the last item. We still have left over, right? We're going to shift some of that 350 to quality of life.
No, it
No.
doesn't. That's just from
No,
the
but I mean,
payments we've
it
received.
says here 900. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, I guess what I'm, when I see this, I'm like, oh, there's 900,000 left. There's no indication here that 350 is locked up. And now it's going to be less because we just put in another 240. But still, there's going to be 100 left.
It's 144, but that's a different agenda, right?
Well, I guess I just want the numbers a little bit more square, just because like it's confusing. You know, I saw 900. Like you were, you know, your questions were following along mine, right? It was like we have money.
But to clarify, because I'm also confused now with your numbers, because as of now, if we don't award this, but this request, we have 498,000.
If we award it?
No, if we don't.
If we don't award it, okay.
But that doesn't include the 350 that
Right.
originally was budgeted.
Right.
So today, we have 498.
Right.
Out
And-
of, total was 900,000 minus the 350.
Right, and I'm saying, I get that, but when I look at this, you know, combined revenues and expenditures, yeah, it doesn't indicate that. So, and then we're drawing down some of that 350, but not all of it. The 350, we're drawing down because it's going to be HA. The accounting is not conforming.
So I guess to Mark's point, like, we need to revisit the amount, like, the balance sheet for next meeting and just adjust everything to be accurate and, you know, squared.
And I would say just move over 100. I mean, do we need to make a motion for that to move over?
It's probably going to be a new line item, new agenda.
Okay, just maybe, okay, well, I'll let Raphael figure that out. But,
Any other questions on this application?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, we're gonna move on to number 8, which is consideration and action to approve the following fiscal year 2024 business improvement and growth big property improvement applications. A is 536 East 12th Street, standard rehabilitation, facade improvement. Tenant is 536 Seller LLC, in the amount of $6,200. And B is 536 East 12th Street, standard rehabilitation, interior MEP improvement. Tenant is 536 Seller LLC, in the amount of $9,750.
Yes. Good evening, Board. We received 2 applications for BIG this month. One is for facade improvement, and the other is for interior MEP improvements, and it's from the same applicant, which is 536 Seller LLC, owned by Myra Perez and Michael Perez. For the facade improvements, the total project cost is $12,400. and the grant request is for $6,200, which is 50% of the total project cost. The project scope includes a new sign, exterior paint, brick repointing, filling in cracks, replacement of rotten wood, new canopy over the service door, and gutter installation. The end use for this building will be A La Luna Restaurant and Bar, and so it'll be a fine dining with seafood, steak. They'll also have a wine cellar. There is a basement access that they'll be building some stairs through the interior MEP grant. So that'll be a new concept in downtown. And they're estimated to open by the end of summer. Should I go to the next one? Or, yeah, okay. And for the standard rehab for interior MEP, the total project cost is $19,500. The grant request is $9,750. And the scope of work includes the finish out, so sheetrock, tape and float, interior paint, brick repointing because there is, the walls are brick, a hood suppression system, reinforcement of subfloor, some wall paneling, repair of the gas cylinder, replacement of some of the damaged wood, addition of a barrier wall for the service area, and installation of security cameras. Again, this would be for A La Luna Restaurant, Bar, but their primary use is restaurant. Are there any questions?
I have a question. This project cost is so minimal, and when you look at the pictures, it looks like rather a daunting project. Is this an extremely small space, or how is it that they're budgeting to do so much work for so little money?
It is a pretty small space, and prior to this, Veggie del Sol occupied this property, and they were a restaurant, and so it does look daunting, but the work isn't as extensive as it could be. They don't have to install a new kitchen or, new equipment. It's mostly, building it out with new features, right? And so, yeah, they're able to do that with that funding.
And this location is the next block over from Market Square?
It is catty corner to Main Street Deli. There's the jewelry corner, and then right next door. So there is not. It is on a numbered street. Yes. I mean, they're in a good area, in close proximity.
Did they just purchase this building?
They do not own the building. They're leasing it from the current owner.
I have a question about the budget for the big, or
Yes.
is it, how much we have right now is 500 something?
So the total budget for fiscal year 2024 is $1 million.
Yes.
We've awarded 418,910. So the current balance is 581,000.
So those 418,000, does that include the last meeting awards
Correct.
already been counted for?
Yes.
Okay, just wasn't sure. Thank you. Oh, the second question, remind me again, which one we were gonna give 20/80 match? Is it
The extensive
the extensive rehab?
rehabilitation?
Okay,
Mhm.
so everything else is 50/50, but we have extensive, it will be 20/80.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Remarks are announced so that the record, like we have a motion.
Second.
Mark, you're in charge.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those in favor say nay. Nay.
Thank you.
Motion carries.
Sorry to be bossy.
No, it's fine. I was like, when's Jill coming back?
Spotlight, good to go.
All right, good afternoon, board. And I'll provide a little bit of background on this for Sergio because he wasn't here in November. But in November, we were one of 2,000 applicants in the entire country to successfully get EDA Build a Scale Award, specifically for our Startup Texas program. That was to facilitate a pre-accelerator and expand on our current accelerator program within Startup Texas. What I'm asking you to approve now is essentially a performance agreement with ourselves and the University of Texas at Rio Grande Valley to administer the funds, the way in which the scope of work was detailed to the EDA. This is the budget. I'm breaking it down in this page. So from the EDA, we're getting 30% of personnel costs for Corey, myself, and Nelson, as well as Lizeth. We get 100% of the cost from Samantha, our newest hire behind you all, as well as another marketing specialist will be starting next Monday, so you'll get to meet Rudy pretty soon. 44% of fringe costs, 100% of travel for INBI and IEDC. INBI, we just came back from in San Antonio last week. 100% of the cost of the Blueprint Lab prototyping equipment. Further supplies, contractual costs with UTRGV. 70% of the cost from BCIC's cost will be 70% of our salaries, which we were already going to do whether or not we got this grant, along with those fringe costs and the event expenses that we've already had budgeted for. The breakdown in years total, EDA is going to be providing us year 1, $470,000, year 2 and 3, $367,000. BCIC's match will be a consistent $426,000. I would like to state that BCIC's match was already in our budget. We were going to pay for that whether or not we got this EDA grant. And I will open it up to questions.
I don't have a question, but I would like to make a statement that when I see something like this, I'm just incredibly proud of what this organization is doing.
Thank you.
The very entrepreneurial sort of attitude that exists among staff to go out and find ways for us to do more for our community. And I'm just so proud of this. It's really exciting. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Motion to approve.
Second. Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Coming off this EDA train is our is item number 10, which is consideration and action to enter into a performance agreement with Alamo Angels. Alamo Angels is an organization we've been working with for over 2 years now. We've been trying to get a chapter here in Brownsville. We withheld on wanting to do that because we really had hoped for this EDA grant to come and facilitate some of that. So essentially, we desperately need a true angel investment group in the Rio Grande Valley, and I want it headquartered here in Brownsville. We've already been working on building up that cohort. Mayor Cowan's left, but Mayor Cowan's actually going to be a part of that founding cohort as well. We have this budgeted. I will kind of open it up for questions because I feel like I've talked to you all about Alamo Angels for quite some time. One thing that I would like to point out, though, is whoever makes the motion, please add the verbiage motion contingent upon an approved performance agreement by legal. That is still in a draft mode. We've been working on it with Deborah. I thought I had a little bit more time, unfortunately. The draft that you all see before you will pretty much stay the same. There's just a few legalese that needs to change. I will open it up for questions.
The reason we have it on the agenda today is because we want to announce Alamo Angels partnership at our RTV Startup Week.
Thank
We're
you.
gonna do a press conference.
Yes, thank you, Corey. I forgot about that.
These are just comments. I mean, I'm just so happy to hear that we want to kick off this here, and especially in Brownsville. I've heard so much of the Alamo Angels, but I'm kind of glad we're kind of pioneering that, to be honest with you. So I congratulate you all, and hopefully it'll be finalized and legal, and we get everything that we need to get this going. So that's my 2 cents.
It would have been finalized today. Deborah was working really hard over the weekend on a few items and kind of found a few things that she wanted to fix. And so speaking with her, we decided that the motion should be contingent upon an approved performance agreement by legal.
I'll make the motion to enter into a performance agreement with the Alamo Angels organization for the creation of an angel investment group at the Eatbridge Center for Business and Commercialization, contingent upon legal review of the performance agreement.
Second.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And in Deborah's defense, today is Passover.
It is, it is. Right up until the minute she couldn't, so, even the performance agreement that you all just approved with UTRGV, she did a lot of good work on that. She understands UTRGV's legal department. Hopefully, it will fly through their department, we'll see, but she's helped tremendously on that.
Item 11 is consideration and action for the creation of the Product Launch Institute program with the LMNTS organization at eBridge Center for Business and Commercialization as budgeted under Entrepreneurship and Innovation Strategic Initiatives. Nathan?
Yes, so a couple things, some background here. Last year, our board really wanted us to expand our partnerships within the eBridge Center. So much of our programming is connected to UTRGV, and that's wonderful. But so much of the Valley has also seen what we're doing here at eBridge is trying to emulate that while also using our partner UTRGV. So we really wanted to continue to bring unique bespoke programming to the eBridge Center for Brownsville residents. We had Prairie View A&M bring 2 programs, both a Bid Academy and a HUD certification course, both of which completed back in February. I was on PTO then. Just last board meeting, you all approved of our Space Alliance Technology Outreach Program with the Bay Area Houston Economic Partnership. That's actually going to be kicking off during Startup Week in May. Despite the name, that's actually open to any organization that has a technical need. It does not have to deal with aerospace. We're working with the League of American Bicyclists as well as the City of Brownsville to further get some more applications to move Brownsville's status from bronze to silver in terms of a bike-friendly city. And now I'd like to bring this program to Brownsville specifically. Specifically, I'd like to pilot this program. BCIC wants to pilot a program that targets first-generation college students, low-income college students, for an entrepreneurship and leadership program. Right now, we have SpaceX, we have LNG, we have the port, we have a lot of great companies in Brownsville that continue to have to import essentially individuals from outside of our community to fulfill positions. We really want to be able to grow our own and have our own community fulfill these positions themselves. This program was originally going to be an extension from UT Austin. It was under the Office of Inclusive Entrepreneurship and Innovation. Unfortunately, if you have anything DEI related, it was wiped off after SB 17, and that's exactly what happened. Luckily, we were able to continue this program as the executive director of the Office of Innovation and Inclusive. It's a very wordy title, but essentially Mr. Ruben Cantu, who's the executive director of that program, is creating his own nonprofit called Elements, which stands for Leadership, Management, Networking, Technical. You all have it there. It's a very long word. But essentially, he's creating a nonprofit to still further the curriculum that was the exact same curriculum that's been going on for 5 years at UT Austin. Will now be run through this nonprofit, and we want to pilot this program here in Brownsville. So that's Ruben up there, and that's his latest cohort at UT. The primary goals really was to focus again on college students located only here in Brownsville and get them to either start their own venture or at least be able to land a high-paying job after they graduate from college. The primary goals, again, master leadership and team development, guiding them to creating their own venture, fostering critical thinking, and emphasizing the social impact and public speaking skills that they have here. And please feel free to interrupt me at any point. This is the last item, so we can take our time with that.
I have a question about
Yes. Oh, your mic.
Just leave it on, bro. Yes, thank you. I have a question about the curriculum itself and the umbrella under which it's going to be, offered to the students or the cohorts, because as of now, it's offered within the UT system under that umbrella of the Office of, Entrepreneurship. So if he's going to create his own nonprofit organizations, how this program will be recognized? I mean, by
Yes,
what entities?
Great question. I'll get to that in 3
thank
slides. Stakeholder engagement. These are slides that they presented to me that I'm just going to kind of click through while I can get to the budget nitty gritty. Operational plan, we do plan to announce this at Startup Week and start recruitment in the summer. And then classes will begin in the summer up until October. There's our marketing plan, again, starting with Startup Week and going on through until October at the end of this pilot program. We're hoping to get 20 students from the Brownsville community involved. Here are a few of our metrics. I know that's kind of hard to see up there. Some risk mitigation. We're kind of starting this cohort a little small. I know it says 8 to 10, but we're actually focusing on 20 students to go through. Even with our own cohorts, if you look at Startup Texas, we've never had a cohort more than 10. With Kaufman, we had started to try to do 15. We're narrowing that back down to 10. But with this cohort, we believe that we can do 20. I'm going to click through these, but these are just a few examples of students that had undergone the program while at UT. And these are all within there. Here's the total cost breakdown. I'd like to allocate $100,000 from our line item of 8518, excuse me, which is entrepreneurship and strategic initiatives. 26,000 of that would be direct operational costs that BCIC is able to perform, and then the other remaining 74,000 would go towards staff of which would be localized here within Brownsville. Travel expenses for the director from UT Austin to be able to come down here, as well as a few equipment and insurance as well. So the main kind of point I'm trying to get at is I'd like to really foster, we're still trying to continue to foster that ecosystem of entrepreneurship. Not everyone's going to want to create their own business in the end. But if we can get some students to be able to fulfill high quality paying positions at SpaceX, the port, LNG, what have you, in Brownsville and have them come from Brownsville, that's a win for us.
So you still didn't answer my question. Right now, this program is administered or credentialed, if you wish. I mean, it's not really credentialed, but credentialed under the UT system umbrella, right? He's
It was.
He's no longer. He's yes. So
Yes.
he's no longer going to be part of the UT system.
Not,
He's creating his own brand new nonprofit
Correct.
organization. So my question is like how we can assure the value of this training under what kind of umbrella? Like, is it BCIC program? Is it the new nonprofit LMNT program? Like, who's the have the credentialing power over this program?
Yes.
When the students go through the training,
Right. This will be a program piloted here. It will be an elements program that we're bringing down here, much similar to how we've brought a Kaufman program down here. This isn't kind of sprung up directly from BCIC like Startup Texas. Originally, this was going to be an extension of UT Austin had a place here at eBridge to perform this program. That's no longer the case. The founder, as of I believe it's July 7th, is going to be their last day because the DEI positions are all closed. That will be the day that the program will move down here and will be an exclusive for Brownsville. That's not to say that if McAllen or another community wants to emulate what we're doing, they can, but we're going to run this pilot program here out of Brownsville. The accreditation would be the 5 years that they've run similar programs to this, that the founder Ruben made at UT Austin, using all of that curriculum is going to be presented here. I hope.
I guess it's just an organization supported by BCIC, right? I guess in a nutshell.
Or you could also think of this as BCIC is entering into a contract of which a performance agreement will be presented to you all with legal. But we're just contracting elements to provide this specific program to 20 students within Brownsville.
So, I mean, I guess my question is like, why not just continue working with Kaufman? How many years Kaufman have been offering these kind of?
We're not getting rid of Kaufman at all.
So why not incorporate? I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to target a specific demographic, which is great, right? First generation, students first. But instead of trying to partner with brand new entity that we don't know how it's going to perform, right? I mean, I'm not questioning,
Right.
what do you call it, the quality of the program, let's say, but like it's brand new organization. Like they're starting with us. This is their pilot outside of the UT.
Yes.
Outside of the UT. But versus Kaufman already been established, we have a relationship. So I'm just trying to understand what's the
Yeah.
benefit of partnering with this entity, brand new entity, rather than trying to cater a specific program through the Kaufman.
So Kaufman has its lane, and that's not something that we're ever going to get rid of. But as kind of was mentioned in our workshop on Friday, we wanted to have more entrepreneurship programs focused on middle school, high school, and college students. So we're starting with the college students right now with this program. I actually wanted to bring this program before the board 2 years ago when I first heard about it. eBridge was still under construction then. That's when I met Ruben at an INBIA conference. And we always talked about wanting to pilot this, and back then it was going to be an extension of UT Austin here at eBridge. Now it's going to be the same program, but under a different umbrella. I see where your point, where we can maybe create this on our own. Administratively, we don't have kind of that, we don't have a program manager, we don't have that experience. We also don't have the bandwidth, in my opinion. That's why I'd rather contract this organization to pilot this. If in the end we decide we want to keep this but make it under our own umbrella, that we can do that as well. If we decide we don't really like this at all, then we move on as well. But this is something that I'd like to kind of dip our feet into. We have it in our budget. Ruben, I can vouch for him myself, is someone who's is about to get an award from President Biden next month. There's just a lot of, he's got a lot of experience in creating programs like this. They've had over 150 graduates. I should actually go back to that slide. I included it.
And Nathan, just a quick question, since
Yes.
while you're scrolling through that. So prior to that bill, was it SB 7? How long was this program active at UT again? I'm sorry.
5 years.
5 years, okay.
Yeah, 5 years. Prior to SB 17, that would have been brought down. Unfortunately, it eliminated.
So it has a
some
decent
positions.
track record. We're just kind of
Yeah.
extending it here.
Yeah,
is
that's
what we're
why I
doing.
included some of these. Wheeled Texas, that's the same program. Product Prodigy. If you actually even notice in your agenda item, it's actually called the Product Launch Institute. We didn't really like that name. We've changed it. I'm still not even iffy on the Innovación Tech Institute. We're still working on a better name. It's sort of like how we rebranded Kaufman to affiliate more with eBridge. But branding aside, the curriculum is what I'd really like to bring down here.
And the 30,000 in the budget, is that going to the director who will be? I thought I passed. The 30,000, the budget there,
Yes.
is it for the director who will be Ruben?
Ruben administering it here, along with 24,000 in staff, but that staff will actually be localized staff that they're going to contract, Elements Organization.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Can I have your motion be contingent upon a performance agreement with legal?
Make a motion to approve contingent on performance agreement being approved by legal.
Second.
Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
We're going to go on to item number 12, which is announcements.
Startup Week, super excited. I'm probably not going to see any of you before this starts because Samantha, Nelson, and myself are going to lock ourselves away and make sure that this is a success in 2 weeks. But I'm really excited to announce that we have Edinburgh EDC, Mission EDC, Harlingen EDC, and about 10 other sponsors all participating in Startup Week. It's going to go from May 3rd through the 10th. We're kicking it off on Friday with a startup boot camp with our partners from San Antonio Geekdom, which is also being covered, the cost of which are being covered by Methodist Health Ministries. We have a keynote speaker. We have the Alamo Angels announcement that Mayor Calmo will be present at as well. We have Her Texas, which is an organization from Dallas, coming down on Thursday. We have Canacintra on Wednesday, which is our International Entrepreneurship Day. And then on Friday, we're going to have coffee and mimosas with Her Texas as well here. So you're all welcome to attend all of the events. We will have an exclusive event following Startup Texas as we usually do. And we always invite you all to that every year. So we'll invite you to that as well again.
So that QR code will take you to our homepage for Startup Week, and then you can access registration, calendar events.
Yeah, everything. There's
Yeah.
there's over 80 sessions. We have 100 and 30 tickets sold, and we haven't really even picked up the marketing. I say sold, everything's free. We're even going to be providing lunch throughout the week as well.
So we will be participating in First Friday at Market Square to kind of just, to promote Startup Week, and then the Farmers Market that Saturday as well.
And on Saturday, we're also going to have a bike ride too. It's Bike Month, so we're going to have a bike ride from Ebridge going through downtown. It's going to be a circuit. Eva Garcia is helping me out with that as well, so I recommend you all bring your bike. We're also going to have some bikes available for anyone who wants to use that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna be,
yeah.
it's our wellness day.
Do you remember IEDC, the bike ride, Mark, that we went on? We were even going to have a marathon too, like the run that you all did, but fortunately there's already another marathon happening. We're not going to try to poach anything like that.
We also have the 40 people registered for the boot camp.
And we have 40 people registered for the boot camp. I think I'm going to open that up a little bit more because we always get some drop-offs.
You mentioned all of the EDCs around the valley that we're co-sponsoring.
Yeah.
How about GBIC?
They ghosted me.
I'm sorry?
They haven't responded to me, unfortunately. Yeah,
Oh, you were ghosted by GBIC.
I was ghosted. Yeah, I kind of feel sad that I just said that on camera, but it is what it is. They've been sent multiple emails. I've talked to a bunch of their staff. I even spoke with one of their staff members who I have a good relationship with, who assured me that it was going to be on someone's desk. They missed the opportunity to be a part of it at this point.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So upcoming as well is the National Small Business Week Award Ceremony. That's actually hosted in Brownsville this year. They rotate between 4 counties. So we are a title sponsor for the SBA National Small Business Week, which is being put on by RGV Partnership. So that is Thursday, May 2nd from 11:30 to 1. So we do have tickets available if you'd like to join us on that. And then the State of the City, which is on May 8th. We do have that in our programs for our RGV Startup Week as well. So that is Wednesday from 5 to 7 on the 8th at the Performing Arts Center at TSC. Dinner will follow afterwards at Jacob Brown, and we do have tickets available for that. So I will reach out to everybody. Yeah, they changed the venue, the time of the day they do it. They wanted to change things up. So I will be sending an email out tomorrow to find out who would like to join us at the table. And lastly, before we end, I just want to introduce Samantha Morales. She is our new eBridge program specialist. So she started at the beginning of April. So she's assisting Nathan with the programs coming out of eBridge, and she's part of the EDA grant.
She'll be overseeing the prototyping space as well as our Alamo Angels chapter too.
Yeah. So she is hitting the road really quick. She's
Trial by fire.
yeah. So, and then we'll, our marketing specialist, I should say content and marketing specialist, Rudy, he will start on Monday. So we will have a team of 9.
And both positions are directly from our EDA grant.
Yeah. So,
I have a couple things before we adjourn. So I noticed with the small business recovery money, or that fund wasn't tapped this month.
No.
Is that right? And then, so when is that money going to go back to the government?
the money doesn't go back, right? We
Send it as much as we need. Like, but that, so we,
So we have until December of this year to expend it. If not, we can always amend it and extend it another more year. an extra year.
So the feds will allow us to use it as
Yes.
long as possible.
I think that what you think is the first round did have a timer. This one-
Expiration.
Yeah, this one's different.
But we can always extend it.
Okay.
We've done that before with the first grant that we received. We can do it again with this one.
Does
Okay.
the stipulations are still the same, right? It's like you have to have showed a loss and da-da-da.
Yes. Mhm.
We did pause it this year for a little while.
Mhm.
which-
Yeah, it's been there's been a lot of change of staff from the grants department of the city, so it's stopped a lot. The review of the applications is pretty lengthy, so, but it's because of that.
Okay. And, thank you. With the mayor's and the commissioner's request for a meeting before the election, I'm assuming that you were saying like if we wanted it on Monday, today's agenda, we would have had to have advertised on Tuesday?
We would have to put it in the Herald on Tuesday.
So, and that would be published a couple days ago or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. So then we would have to have a publication tomorrow?
No,
Or
we would have to submit
I'm like,
tomorrow
I meant submit by tomorrow,
to be the publication on a Saturday.
and then, but then we have to, that announcement has to have a date.
Yes.
Otherwise, what's the next deadline after Tuesday?
Mary, do you recall for the Brownsville Herald, the deadlines for Saturday is on Tuesday, but do you recall for what deadline is for Wednesday?
I think it's Friday.
Because they only have 2 printed publications.
So then, if it doesn't go in tomorrow, then we would have to wait. So if it went in tomorrow, we'd have to wait. We can go next week, Monday on. If we waited until Friday, we wouldn't be able to go until Wednesday?
After Wednesday.
Oh, so Thursday or Friday, and then, okay.
You really want 72 hours? You want 72 hours of, to be able to advertise it before our meeting date. So if our deadline, if we had a deadline of tomorrow to get into the Herald for Saturday, then
Then we wouldn't be able to do it till Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah, the meeting wouldn't be to Tuesday. And then if you want for Wednesday publication for next Wednesday, our deadline is Friday, so publish on Wednesday, so that would be Friday of next week. That we would have
Okay.
to have a board meeting, or anytime after that.
Okay, so then, and it's mandated that there has to be 72 hours between publication and meeting
Well,
time.
because you, the public notice.
No, I meant like,
The
I
72
know,
hours.
I'm just saying that's like
Yeah,
law.
yeah,
That's
it's
law.
a requirement,
Okay.
72 hours.
So, I know in the bylaws it says, you know, you need 2 board members to call a special meeting. So can I use this venue right now to ask for another board members? I mean, can I make a motion for a special meeting?
Motion, then somebody can second it and join.
Okay. I'll make a
I mean, the board's already, you discussed what you want, so they ought to,
Well,
gonna join
I'll make a motion for a special meeting, and it would be before the May 4th election, and the director, the CEO will identify which date can be where everybody can convene, where there will be a quorum between now and election.
But also need to fall in with what you said, publication.
And then preceded by a publication in the Herald.
Can I ask a
And-
clarifying question?
Yeah.
I feel like we're getting 2 messages from different places. Is it needed to have a meeting to approve these? Like, my understanding was after the election, we still continue with business as usual?
That's correct. That's what Will said, that if the MDD passes, we can still resume business as usual and allocate for future funding from the budget.
For how long? So I guess I just don't understand the rush.
Until I think the MDD is
It's just making people
formalized.
nervous? Is that what it is? Like everyone's kind of just anxious?
I don't know.
I understood that, and I think maybe there needs to be more clarity with Will, but I understood that this is like, we have a budget, we can commit more money from it. Like the big money, right? I'm assuming. But if it's something that's from unrestricted funds, like we're taking we're going outside the budget into the unrestricted pot and pulling money out, or at least committing it, then that's not, I don't think that's necessarily allowed. If the May 4th election ends up with
I
an
said
IDD.
for unrestricted or for future budget allocation or unrestricted. And you said
Okay,
for
how
both.
about contingent on clarity from the city attorney about whether or not, like, I mean, like, did you specifically say this money is coming from unrestricted funds?
Yeah, for unrestricted.
Okay. Because, like, I mean, I got word from other people that this wasn't the case. And so I think I would like reconfirmation.
Okay.
Well, I also want to comment on that, like, we're trying to work our best to work with the city and whatever they need, but like, it's the city that should be on the top of this thing and, bring this on timely manner for us to consider. I mean, the fact that, like, last meeting would have been an opportunity for the city to bring this item as an action item rather than FYI. And now we're being put on a spot to be kind of trying to figure timing between the election and before the election.
I think they tried
No, I mean.
in the last meeting.
So anyway, I mean, I'm not against or opposed, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like it's unfair for us now to try to untangle this kind of urgency where, there was a chance to bring this item in a timely manner for consideration to be, an action item rather than.
The only other thing I was thinking was, like, we've paid to have the plan made and our priorities set, and then we also have the parks plan that is pending, and I don't know when that is coming. Do we have a timeline on that?
It'll take about 18 months.
For the parks plan?
Mm-hmm.
So we're not getting that before the next budget year?
No.
Well, there we go. Never mind, we're not waiting on that. But for our plan, when should we expect that, the finalized version?
That should be June, July, end of June, early July.
And the intent was that plan would drive budget?
Yeah. Also,
That was kind of our long-term plan.
also, we still need to determine what we have available. I would hate for us to award funds that we're not sure where our unrestricted budget is at right now and what we have forecast for our revenues for next year.
Well, I mean, I've looked, the budget is, it is what it is. We have like 9 million. At the beginning of this year, we had like 9 million in excess. And now we're not like gonna hit 100% of our budget. So, what? No, I meant like our budget's 13.3, and we're not gonna spend 13.3.
No, our balance is 13 point.
No, our budget.
Our budget.
Like what we expected to spend this year.
Yes. So
And our-
quality of life, we're almost exhausting, and we're gonna tap into another line.
So what I'm saying is like, we have a lot of money in excess that was not programmed, 9 million. Right, it was like 3 million reserve, 6 million, like just, that was not looked at.
But the
So-
3 million for reserve is 3 million for our rainy day.
Right, and it's,
So, yeah, and then the 6 million, which is, I think, less than that. I mean, we've already allocated almost 3 million for city projects.
right, so it was 3 million, so then less, that would be, so there's 3 million left from that 6 million that was unprogrammed. Then there's the reserve, which is 3 million, which is for, exactly, but it's, if you look at how it's done, like say with the city, they do 90 to 120 days of operational revenue in reserve. If we look at our budget, it's like 1.8 million for administration, right? We're not even spending all of that. So if we looked at 90 to 120 days of 1.8 million for the year, it's, we don't need 3 million.
But that's not
1
what we based
million-
our budget off of. Like, we had agreed in the budget process to put 3 million in rainy
No,
day.
I guess what I'm saying is like, there's plenty of money.
Got it.
Agreed.
That's what I'm saying. There's 2 million from the reserve you can probably pull out and safely. I mean, you have, like, 1 million is plenty. Then you have another 3 million that's in the unrestricted, that's not tapped. So we have 5 million, plus then there's the 1.5 million for the sports park. You know, I don't know if we ever, you know, wanted to do something with that.
Well, we are going for the feasibility study to find out how we're gonna master plan that.
And there's 1.5 million for that. So it's like there is money. It's just a question of,
I hear you, Mark, and I understand your point of view, but also I hate the fact that just because we have, for the first time, we have healthy budget, that we just need to rush it and spend it all at once without waiting for our strategic plan to come back and decide how we're gonna actually wisely spend this money. Whatever extent, I'm not saying hold anything that is desperately needed, right? But the strategic plan for the sport park will come up with some ideas that will need some funds for it. And we're not gonna have that fund if we don't plan for it, right, and reserve it for it, right? So unless there is something really urgent that is needed, which might be, right, and needed for the community, yes, and we're open for that idea. What I'm talking about is like, it's becoming like, it's like we are turning to become the ones who are holding and funding these projects, which we're not. We were never asked to consider funding a new wave of quality of life project from the city up to now, up to today, right? The last meeting was not an action item. I'm sorry, whatever everybody says or whatever, then it was not an action. It was FYI for next year. That was the answer.
it was,
Consider it for next year.
I mean, just to clarify, it was not an action item to approve projects. It was not a public hearing. It was an action item, consideration and action to make a public hearing.
No, it was, I asked the question, the answer was, this is FYI for next year budget.
But that's not how that's not what the item read. That's not how the item read.
I know Tracy has a comment too. Tracy?
I have a counterpoint. If we project forward that perhaps MDD passes, let's just think about that for a minute. And then think about GBIC's unrestricted funding, which then becomes available for quality of life projects. Because the new organization, the combined organization, now has all the money available for quality of life. That changes everything, which makes...
My understanding was it's only the new funds that come in that go under the MDD. Everything looking back, like the stuff we have in our accounts right now would be just BCICs. And the stuff that GBIC has in their accounts is just for GBIC.
Okay.
I think
But
that's
then
budgeted.
any of the new
revenues?
I think.
I'm
not
sorry,
sure.
I had asked the question about whether or not that fund balance would be available for quality of life projects, and was told that it could be, but perhaps that was not accurate. So I thought it was worth thinking about, that we're trying to make really big decisions in time of such uncertainty. And
Unclarity, also unclarity, like we don't, like up to now, we're still confused. Are we gonna be able to allow? We're not gonna close it. I mean, as of today, we're still not clear of what role this entity will have after the election, either or. And JBEC at the same time, are we gonna be allowed to dedicate some more monies from unrestricted or restricted or not? You're saying yes, some other people saying no, so we need a clarification on that, because, you know, we can't just keep going like this, like under assumptions, right? Making these big commitments.
I'm getting it. My question to Will was, if the MDD passes, that won't be, will we be able to obligate any funds for city projects for 2025? Just need clarification after election, and if it passes, can we use our unrestricted funds or earmark for 2025? And it can be for any projects that we can use unrestricted funds. Yes.
And that was the only communication you had with him?
With
It was
Will.
right there, with Will,
Yes.
right, about that?
Yes. That was on Friday.
With that said, I mean, I'm open for whatever recommendation the board has as far as meetings. If we need to meet or not, I mean, it's up to the board.
I'm
Well,
okay.
if we could make, any board members can make a request for a special meeting at any time. It doesn't need to be in another meeting, does it? Like, we could just email Corey and say, like, have a special meeting. Is that
Yeah,
right?
but for this specific item, we need the 72-hour, like, we need to align it to where it's actually gonna be, productive. Because we can have a meeting tomorrow, but if we don't meet these other requirements
No, I
for
mean,
the public hearing.
I heard differently, is what I'm saying. Is then I think I would like for you to reconfirm with Will.
Okay.
And then, if he says, actually, yeah, you can't do that, then, then I would say, okay, we can do a special meeting per request of the mayor. And, then we could say, okay, two people say, we would like to call a special meeting. Do I have to does it have to be a formal action? I don't,
I mean, you can ask the staff to set up a special meeting, but you have to give 3 days notice and all of that, like you would a regular meeting.
so it'd just be like a formal request, like on email is fine.
You can do that.
Okay.
But
It's just something in writing that she can have, but you can do it through an email.
So action
But that's
steps.
different from
So the meeting would be next week.
the public, like the announcement in the Brownsville Herald too, right? Like you need to, you have to do that.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
That's
It
what
would
I'm
be
saying,
by
like, you have to
tomorrow.
do that.
Right, I don't know if there would be enough time to advertise by Tuesday or whatever. Like coordinating with Will, coordinating with people's schedules and all that. I think more realistically, it's like after that.
I guess regardless, whether we wanna consult or not, like, are we up for special meeting in 2 weeks or 10 days from now? If yes, then Corey can start moving on the public, announcement on the newsletter and so forth. Like, we don't have to wait on, or do we wanna just wait and see if it's doable to do it after the election and we just wanna wait?
That's what I'm saying, it's like,
So which one we
if she meets with Will and he says, you can take this to the bank, you can go next month and have these, if the MDD goes through, you could still approve those public hearings for the city projects. Then I'd be like, okay, so we just wait till next month.
If he says no, then we need to have.
Then we hustle.
Okay,
All right, so let us know.
I will.
Okay, thank you.
That's it, since we're all here, it's easier, face-to-face than meeting. If we are
It
in a
is.
special meeting, when is a good date? I think that's what I'm
To give Corey legroom, I feel like May 2nd or 3rd.
I would say not the second, let's do like the 30th or, well, it comes out on
Okay.
Saturday. So we can do it by the 30th or the 1st or the 2nd.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
The first?
How's everyone's calendar looking?
First of May?
First is a Wednesday of May.
Can we do it Thursday? Second?
It would,
Can we check my
it shouldn't
calendar?
take very long,
It'll be 1 item.
knock on wood.
Whatever.
I'm free
Okay.
anytime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so
Lunch or 5?
What day?
Wednesday I can do lunch. I have to, because I'll be in Macau, so I have to come from Macau.
Okay.
Thursday I can do lunch or whatever.
Does Thursday at lunch work for everybody?
Or Tuesday.
No,
so
we have
Tuesday, second.
I can't do Tuesday because we have the small business. I'm a presenter.
May 1st is a Wednesday.
But, I mean,
Is it?
yeah, May 1st is Wednesday.
So Tuesday is, okay, fine.
Tuesday would be the 30th of June. I mean,
What about Thursday? The second?
It would have to be at 5.
Tuesday would be the 30th of April.
No. Oh, Tuesday, I'm sorry. I thought I heard Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take a poll.
Yeah, do that.
We'll take a
Okay, we are at agenda item 14, which is meeting adjourned.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion
Who
carries.
seconded it?
Murad,
All right.
I heard it from that side of the